Hello there and welcome to my Class 87 Neutral Zone reference guide for Train Sim World's Preston to Carlisle route. Are you struggling to remember where all those black and white marker boards are that signal the neutral zones, or unsure when to run down and cut off the power to glide through them safely? We'll be running a passenger service from Carlisle to Preston, stopping at Penrith, Oxenholme, Lancaster and Preston, and don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video I'll guide you through each zone with clear on-screen visuals to help you learn the route, spot the markers and handle those sections with confidence. So let's get started. So, let's get the DVD on. And our AWAS end lever. God, that noise really penetrates the ears, doesn't it? So, marker lights. And our left marker light and our headlight on, and as you know the headlight doesn't come on until you turn on the engine. The instrument lights, our master key, our master switch into forward, and now we can hear the engines engaging. And we're more or less ready to go. So I'm hoping this guide will be of some help. It just might end up making things more complicated for you. I'm not sure, but we'll see how we go anyway. Because I've created some visuals which I'll explain as we go along. That may be of some help in helping you to identify when the black marker boards which come first are coming up along the route, and then when the critical white marker board which indicates the actual neutral zone itself. Right, so our doors are locked and we're off to Penrith, which is 17 miles away. We've just indicated to the guard, brakes are off, and we should be starting to make a move any moment now. So we're in the notch up, so we're just notching up nice and gradually, and as you've noticed, a red frame has just appeared around the screen. Now this red frame is to indicate that we are a mile away, or in this case slightly less, a mile away from the white marker board. So it's just a case of just using notching up AWS there. It's just a question of notching up a little along here, because we don't want to break the speed limit of 20 miles an hour. So yeah, the black marker board we don't see leaving Carlisle, because the black marker board would be before the platform, so you don't actually see it. So when you're starting from the station itself, you are already within a mile of the white marker board. basically the white marker board is just more or less not far after going under this bridge, so this acts as a first visual indication for you. And I've inserted a clock on the bottom left hand corner to let you know that we're 20 seconds, well 13 seconds away now from the actual white marker board, which you can now visually see in your screen there along the track. So we're 5 seconds away from it. So we're just going through. You'll notice the lights on the left have just on the right rather, have just gone out, and they'll come back on again now. See, so they've just come back on. Now sometimes they don't come back on, so you need to press your reset button, which is just in the center there, where you can see the center clock. It's just below that center clock. Sometimes when you're going through that particular neutral zone, I think if you're going a little bit too slow through there, the lights don't always re-engage. So try and keep near to the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit as much as you can, and then hopefully it shouldn't trip out for you. Right, so that's the first zone done. Neutral zone. There's 6 zones altogether. So I'm still notching up. I like to just gradually build the speed up to begin with, and also you need to be very careful as well, because if you see where that yellow gauge is on your right there, the little needles going up, if you push them into the red, then you're gonna have to press the reset button, because they'll just go into shutdown. So you need to be very careful when you're building up your speed, that you don't take those needles out of the yellow area. So I'm still using the notch up rather than, well, I'm running up a little bit now. I'm using a little bit of the run up. Now, because this video is focusing mainly on our neutral zones, I've not done any exterior shots of the train travelling along, because this is purely a reference video to help you kind of memorize the route from within the cab itself. So that you can see, you know, either on the left or the right, any visuals such as certain trees or bridges or buildings or pylons, which can perhaps act as indications to when you are approaching your zones. So for example, here we have a house or a building on the left there, we've got this bridge coming up. So you can use things like that as your indicating points as to when certain neutral zones are approaching. I've got to admit, this is probably one of the most challenging. The train's not too complicated to drive. The route isn't complicated neither. If you're driving one of the diesels or whatever, I mean, it's, you know, it's really relaxing and fun driving along on this route in a diesel. It's quite fun actually driving this train too, this Class 87. But I think where the problem lies is that, you know, it's a high-speed train, and you reach maximum speed of 110. Now, when you relate that to the Pendolino, it's not very fast, but when you drive the Pendolino, you're literally on a straight track all the time, so you can see things better, and it doesn't feel as fast. But when you are reaching high speeds along this route, because there's quite a lot of bends, twists and turns, and there's a lot of gradients as well, descents and climbs, it can make the feeling of travel seem a lot faster than it does in the Pendolino on the West Coast Main Line from Euston. Now, I'm actually recording this as a voiceover, so it's not a live commentary, and the reason for that is because I needed to insert the visual aids, which you'll see in a moment. So I needed to do the commentary after the recording of me actually driving the route. It makes it a little bit easier for me as well to comment, and it meant I could focus and concentrate more on the actual driving, because when you're trying to do a commentary and drive at the same time, it's very easy to miss things and balls it up basically, which I've done many a times when I've been driving along here trying to make this video. I don't know why I decided to do this, but hey ho. Yeah. So we're 9 miles away from Penrith. It's a fantastic route though, and although driving the 87 with these neutral zones as an extra, challenge, it makes it a more challenging game, which is, I guess, what we kind of need compared to the other routes, which are perhaps a little bit more straightforward. So it takes me a while to learn a route anyway, but by making this video it's made me learn about these neutral zones. It's been quite an intensive learning curve. So we're just under 7 miles away now from Penrith. I think one of the most challenging things about driving this route in the Class 87 is at night time, because it's quite difficult to see the blackboards in the dark, whereas with the whiteboards in the dark, because they're white, they reflect from the headlight on the train. But of course it's too late then to run down, and cut off. So the first, well, the next after Carlisle was the first neutral zone. So the next neutral zone is just coming into Penrith, which is about 1.6 miles away from Penrith. I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Penrith sounds like a Welsh name, doesn't it? Is it based on something to do with Wales? I need to look into that, it's interesting. But Penrith sounds like a typical... Right, now then, here we go. I've put a green frame now. As you know, earlier I had the red frame because we were within a mile. So the green frame indicates that we're 2 miles away from the marker board. So when we get a mile away from the marker board, the frame will turn to orange, and then red with it when we're at a mile away from the whiteboard. So we're now 1 mile away from the black marker board. So take into account all the visuals here now that you're seeing, such as those cows on the right. So we're 17 seconds away now, 15, 14 seconds away from the blackboard. So keep an eye on the left, on the track, keep an eye on the track on the left. And there it is. Okay. So we're now 1 mile away, so we need to be running down now. I'm actually braking, so I wasn't looking properly at my controls there, but here we go, we're 18 seconds away. Now, this is where I've made a mistake. You can see I'm braking, and keep an eye on the right, on the white lights on the right, the 2 white lights on the right once we get through this zone. So, white marker board's just there. My lights have gone out, but they haven't come back on the right, and the reason why they haven't come back on is because I had my brakes on. So you need to just press that reset button if that happens, because really you shouldn't be braking within the zone, because the the braking must use power, I'm assuming, and with it drawing power, obviously it cuts out the power and the lights don't come back on. So make sure you are not braking as you're going through your neutral zone. The brakes need to be off. I usually do away with these stop markers, but the route being complicated enough, I thought I'm leaving them switched on just to make it a little bit. But in most cases anyway, when you're stopping, because these trains are quite long, you're stopping at the end of each platform. It's probably a different case in the Pacers and those trains with less carriages. But in most cases with the 87, you need to stop at the end of the platform. Obviously, let's be honest with you, stopping the train is quite easy once you get the hang of it. I hope this is recording. I'm just checking my monitor to make sure that my voice is being recorded. Oh dear. There'll be nothing worse than just talking here and it's not recorded. Okay, so 2 seconds away, so let's get the doors locked, eh? Let's let the guard know. I don't normally bother with that, to be honest with you, because I know it has no effect whatsoever, really. It's just, you know, playing it for real, isn't it? Because that's what we do. So we've notched up, so I think I'd press the button if you got, you know, extra points for it or something. And I think that's something that needs to be improved on Dovetail side, is to include more points for certain functions, or penalties as well for certain errors that you make. So a gradual notch up, you know, because, well, you have to gradually notch up, because otherwise if you just go straight to run up, you're just going to push those needles right into the red, and then the train is just going to stall, and you're going to spend some time resetting your train, which is what happened to me on one of my night journeys. I was stuck there for half an hour trying, because I was in the dark. I couldn't find all the buttons, and so I had to connect my keyboard to press L to switch the cab lights on to see what I'm doing. So, because I play on an Xbox, when you're playing I play on Xbox with controller, and the controller doesn't have all of the shortcuts to different functions. So if you plug a keyboard in, you can use the shortcuts then, and so the cab light is the letter L. So Oxenholme is our next station, and the black marker board, according to my notes here, is at the end of the station, just at the end of the platform, basically, going in this direction anyway. So that's 24 miles away, so I guess I can have a little bit more of a chat. I did get in touch with Just Trains, praising them on the route. I don't think anybody can really make any complaint, really. I mean, the only issue being, which is why I got in touch with them, is about the fact that I'm struggling myself particularly. So really I'm just making this video for myself, if nobody else. I'm making it for myself, but I explained to them I'm finding it difficult noticing these black and white marker boards, because initially these boards didn't exist in this era. They were something that came a little bit later, but they decided to put them in to try and help people identifying the upcoming neutral zones. I think there was the intention, and is still the intention, to try and include the neutral zones on either the map or maybe on that top right HUD that you see, which indicates the signals. Well, that's where I feel it should be, maybe like a blue dot or something, so that you know that the neutral zone is getting nearer. But the HUD section hasn't got anything to do with Just Trains. That is operated through Dovetail themselves. So I think they are working well. Just Trains did indicate to me that they are liaising with each other to try and implement that, but you know, it does take time to try and bring these things in, and this is the first route where these neutral zones exist. So maybe in a future update there will be some kind of assistance. That's a lovely sound, that, isn't it, as the trains are going past. So hopefully something will come along, but I know many of you, I mean, I am totally amazed by watching some other YouTubers watching other YouTubers. I've noticed they play with a complete blank screen. They've learned where all the the different speed limits are and when they're coming up. I don't think, well, never say never, but I think I would struggle to operate without having some HUD to help me along, especially that HUD on the top left there. On some routes I've switched off the HUD on the right, which indicates the signals. It's quite nice playing not knowing what the upcoming aspect is of the signals are. It makes it much more immersive. It keeps you more alert. I mean, I've only been playing since August. I think it was around the end of August that I first became aware of this game. So it's now just turned December. I've put quite a lot of hours in playing various routes. I just play UK routes though. I'm not interested in any of the other country routes. It just doesn't interest me. I'm just purely interested in UK. I mean, my interests come from model railway, really, from my childhood. My memories of sitting on a bridge just like this one here and watching the trains go through and waving to the train drivers to make them hoot their horns, which they 99% of the time they always did. You just sit there for hours. And there's just something about the BR Blue era, particularly the diesels, you know. They're living beasts, aren't they? You know, compared to, I'm not knocking modern day trains, but they just don't have that beef that the old diesels have. I've driven 1,000 miles. I didn't see it properly. I've driven 1,000 miles in the 87? I'm not quite sure. So I seem to be notching around a bit here. I wasn't paying attention to what I'm pressing. I don't know what I was notching around, but I can see we're on. We're running up. We're running up. So we're running up because we're on an incline here. Tend to use the run up and run down when travelling, you know, at higher speeds. So I'm running up a little bit more now. So where you can see the red, yellow and green indicators, to the right of them, there are a couple of black indicators. Now, when the white line is right at the top, you're running at the fullest power. So that's your notch indicator, I suppose. I don't know what the technical term is. Some of them will have to just say in the comments. Please do comment. I'm open to constructive criticism and advice, and also tips as well. I mean, you won't just be helping me, but helping other people who are watching this video. Please also take the opportunity to like and subscribe if you feel videos like this are helpful. I'm not currently monetized by YouTube because there's a couple of videos I need to delete from my channel which disallow me from being monetized, but I just haven't had the heart yet to delete them, but I'm going to delete them soon, and hopefully I can look at getting my channel monetized. But in the meantime, if you'd like to buy me a coffee or send a little donation, I do have a PayPal and a buy me a coffee link on my videos and on my channel if you wish to do so. But I'm undeserved of that yet because I'm a newbie, you know. I'm still far from being an expert. But if you feel I'm making an effort, please do go ahead, and if you do, I am extremely very, very grateful, because making these videos does take a lot of time. It's not too bad when you're just doing a commentary of a journey, doing a live commentary of a journey. It's easy enough, but making videos with adding visuals to the screen, because I use DaVinci Resolve. So any of you who are interested in any software, DaVinci Resolve is free, but it's quite a difficult... Right, we'll stop on that, we'll come back to it later. So we're now 2 miles away from our next our black marker. So Tebay is our next neutral zone. I think I said earlier that Oxenholme is the next one, but it's not, it's Tebay. So you see, it's a good job I put these markers up. So we're now 1 mile away from the black marker board for Tebay. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. So this is now our third neutral zone. Our counter clock should be coming up soon. So this black board, it's like it's on a bend with some rocks either side, I think, if I remember correctly. But it's quite easy to remember this one. There's plenty of visuals in the surroundings. So we're 20 seconds away. It's just round this corner. So keep an eye on the left for the black marker board. There it is. So we just had that mast on the side there, so that's another indication. You got these sidings on the right, so there's another indication for you that we're getting very close to the zone. I think I stupidly start to brake here, if I remember correctly. Or do I? I haven't got my brakes on at the moment. There's the white marker board. No, I left my brakes off, so you see the lights on the right have come back on. So there's an example of, you know, going through a zone with your brakes off. And the lights coming back on your right. If they don't come back on, you need to hit that reset button. I think I was driving a Class 37 the other night on a route heading from Preston towards Carlisle, and I can't remember where it was, but had to take the Class 37 and wait in a loop to let other high-speed trains go past. Look at this gorgeous scenery on the left here. And I think the wait time until I was able to come out of the loop was something like 20 minutes or something. So I just got out of the cab and just went for a wander round to have a look, and it was just so serene. I mean, there were these beautiful little cottages, there was this little stream with running water. It was extremely therapeutic. And there was a motorway or dual carriageway not so far away. So I went up to the dual carriageway and I just stood in the middle of the road, and the cars come to a stop. So I was doing a bit of a just oil, stop oil protest kind of thing. And the cars come to stop, and it just made me laugh. You know, the level of detail that were put into things. I'm quite glad they didn't run me over though, because that just would have brought everything to an end, wouldn't it? So yeah, I mean, you know, just roaming around on foot or using the camera when you're waiting somewhere is great. I mean, I find driving the diesels very therapeutic and relaxing. More so than playing Call of Duty, which is the other game that I play. Wow, that makes me rage, that does. I don't know why I still play it really. I'm 52 years old now, and I think it's... But I believe there's people who are much older who play Call of Duty, but it can be quite frustrating at times. So we're running up now because we're going up an incline. We're 10 miles an hour below the speed limit, so I'm running up just to try and bring us closer to taking it back to the hold position. We're 5 miles away. What I tend to do is I think about 2.5 miles away from the station I tend to run down. And I'm running down at the moment. I may even be in the off position here, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm in the off position now because I wanted to apply some brakes, because we were just about to go over the speed limit. So I think on this section of the line, if my memory serves, you spend a lot of time just braking, you're just coasting away. So the power's off, and I'm just controlling the train with the brake. But if you notice, see, when you're using the brake, the needles on the right there go up, and so as I say, it must be drawing power to use the brakes, and hence the reason why you do not want to be braking in your neutral zones. Right, we're 4 miles away now from Oxenholme, platform 1. I was thinking last night, perhaps what might make it a bit easier to see where these white marker boards are, if they had some British rail workers at the side of the track wearing high-vis jackets, or perhaps maybe a one of the yellow British rail vans as indications. Because some of these marker boards, you just don't see them. I mean, there's one somewhere along here that's just hidden behind bushes. I did drive in the dark the other night in the Class 87 with freight, so there was no stopping at stations, it was just straight through from Carlisle to Preston, and amazingly I did the entire journey, and because I was going slower, I did actually see the marker boards in the dark. So we're just less than 2.5 miles, so my power is completely off now, and we're 2 miles away from the marker board, the black marker board, which is indicated by this lovely little green border frame I've made. Yes, as I was saying, if you're looking for some free software for editing, DaVinci Resolve is free, but it's quite a complex editing suite to use. The professionals use it, by the way. I think Hollywood and Netflix and that use it as their editing system. I think more for colour grading than anything else. And it's just as powerful as Adobe Premiere, which is what I used to use. Right, so we're 1 mile away now from the black marker board. So coming from the Carlisle direction, it should be pretty easy to remember your next neutral zone, really, because it's basically just after Oxenholme. I used to be a videographer. I used to film lots of weddings and make corporate videos. And I used to use Adobe Premiere for that, but now you have to subscribe to Adobe Premiere, and it's pretty expensive. So a nice smooth stop into Oxenholme, if that's how you pronounce it. Because remember, you know, if you're playing this for real, you want to make sure you're not spilling coffee all over your passengers. I'm happy with that. Yeah, so sorry if you wanted to see exterior shots. I suppose I could have shown some exterior shots at the stations. But this is just a reference guide, rather than, you know, a jolly entertainment video. So off we go. Brakes off. I hope this audio syncs up properly with the video. Right, so we're 18, 17, 16 seconds away from the black marker board, which you can now see in your screen there, just on our left. See it? There you go. Marvellous. So we're now 1 mile away. Now, I was being a little bit too cautious here in accelerating, because I knew that the white marker board was only a mile away, which I would be approaching a lot more quicker had I not been just leaving the station, you know. So apologies for being a little bit overcautious, but better to be safe than sorry, isn't it? But I should have just speeded up a little bit more, really. In fact, it's a little frustrating that I've not picked up some extra speed here. You see, there was the fear, you see, of not being able to run it down quick enough. But again, you know, the more you play the route, the more you can test it. Now you see these pylons here coming up. We're 20 seconds away now from the white marker board. These pylons act as a good indication as to where your white marker board is. So these pylons here, that one on the left particularly, so here it is coming up now, your white marker board. So you can only just see that because of the way the light, now as you can see my lights have gone off and they've not come back on because I was braking. I don't know why I was braking so slow. I think it was because I was braking anyway, or I was just, the power was off too long maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we're running up now. Yeah, sometimes I think, depending on how slow you're going through the zone, you might need to reset. I use OBS to actually record from my Xbox. So basically I have a HDMI cable connected from my Xbox, well, from a receiver actually, into my laptop. So that feeds into OBS, and then I'm able to record. And then you can just use the file, and if you were doing live commentary, you can record your commentary live and then upload your video straight from there. But if you want to add visuals and things like that, you need to take it into an editing suite like DaVinci Resolve, like I was saying. I'm probably boring you all to death, aren't I, about editing, but it's what my job used to be, was filming and editing. And my skills are a little bit rusty, so that's been a bit of a learning curve alongside learning this route. So we've done four neutral zones now. Our next one is at Lancaster. Which is about 3.6 miles before Lancaster. The blackboard is anyway, and the whiteboard is 2.6 miles from Lancaster. So we've got 12 miles to go. But if you're a beginner like me, you know, I just stumbled across Train Sim World by accident. I'm not quite sure how it happened. I think I was watching a video of a real train driver playing Train Sim World. It wasn't Dad's Rail, it was something arranged with Dovetail, I think. And I thought, cool, this is interesting. But I didn't realise that, I think again it was just by pure chance that, you know, having an Xbox already, that it was just by pure chance that I found that it's available on Xbox, and I thought, oh my god. So I went ahead and bought Train Sim World 4. But I wanted to drive a Class 37, but there was some kind of route add-on that involved Class 37, because that's my favourite engine locomotive. I wasn't, you know, I was familiarising myself with game, so I didn't realise Preston to Blackpool route kind of existed. You know, trying to navigate through the game and learn how, you know, all the add-ons work and everything is a learning curve in itself, and I was getting a bit confused, but I got there in the end. And then when I bought, the Preston to Blackpool route, with it being set in the BR era, I just thought, oh my god, this is heaven. It was just a massive nostalgia trip back to my childhood. And then when I knew that this was coming up for release, I was just so excited, just like Tintin. Tintin's great to watch. Yeah, if you're a BR Blue fan, then Tintin's YouTube channel is great to follow. So he was extremely excited about this route. Me too. And I became aware that to integrate other locos like the Class 31, 37 and the Class 20, all these favourites of mine, I ended up buying all the routes and all the add-ons. I couldn't wait for a sale, I just had to pay full price. So now we're 2 miles away from our next neutral zone. So it cost me a fortune really, but to me it was money well spent. And there's a pacer there. Now you see, that wouldn't appear in this route had I not had the Preston to Blackpool route. So we're now 1 mile away from our black marker. "20 seconds from our black marker. Keep an eye on the left here, along the track. It'll be on one of these posts. And there it is. So that bridge was a good marker, but the trouble is, the black marker was kind of disguised by the darkness of the bridge, so that one was hard to spot. So we're a mile away now from our white zone. So we've got this signal box here. This is a good zone. You know it's coming up. If you haven't ran down, you're in big trouble. And I stupidly go and brake, don't I? So the lights trip. Why am I braking? Why? So you see the lights haven't come back on. So I press my reset button. So frustrating, but I wasn't going to record this all over again just to get it right. But I thought, well, no, I'm going to include it so that you can see, what can go wrong. So we've got the power off, and we're just braking now into Lancaster. Now be aware, at Lancaster there's some speed limits which can easily catch you out. So as you can see, I'm just using my brake now, and that's what you need to rely on, is just using your brake when coming into these stations. I mean, there's no harm in using some power if you need to. In some cases you have to power up a little bit. when I was a student, when I went to uni, I used to live in Ipswich, and my flat was right on top of Ipswich Station, and all the class 37s and 47s, I think they were 47s, were all starting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was a right racket, but bizarrely, after a while, you didn't wake up. You just got used to it, how your ears your mind just would get used to it. So as you can see, we've got a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit coming up, but we're already well under that anyway. So running a minute late, which isn't too bad, but it's probably going to be about 2 minutes late by the time we get to stop. I think I'm picking up speed a little. Yeah, I was picking up speed a little bit there, because I was aware we were perhaps going a little bit too slow. So we just ran down, and I'm assuming we're in the off position. Why is it that the AWS goes off and it starts raining as you come into a station? It's not raining now, of course, but everything just seems to happen all at the same time, just to catch you out. So mid station, I tend to hang around about 15 miles an hour, and then when we're about about 50 yards away, I start braking. And then that should bring you, so if you're going at 15 miles an hour and you're about 50 yards away, that should bring you more or less near to your stop. But we're on a bit of a climb here, so that's why it didn't work out for me properly this time. So I'm just creeping ever so slowly, but that'll do. Right, it's 10 miles an hour coming out of here, which can catch you out. It's the same coming, it's worse coming in to Lancaster. So you get caught out. So we're ready to go. Let's let the guard know. Brakes off. Snotch up. I'm sure I just fell back slightly there. I'm sure I rolled back a little bit there. I should have put the other brake on, shouldn't I? See, always learning. Yeah, so although the current speed limit is 30, you can easily catch yourself out. See, it's just dropped to 10. But I didn't get caught out on this occasion, which I'm quite pleased about. Little pat on the back for myself. Anyway, are you all enjoying this? I don't know, not me, I mean, are you enjoying this route? Has it met with your expectations? How are you finding the Class 101? If you need any help with driving the Class 101, sorry, if you need help driving the Class 101, I have got a video that I shot before this was released on think it's the Tees Valley line. Is it Tees Valley? Anyway, whatever line it was, it might not be the Tees Valley line. I can't remember which one it was now. What's the other? Can't remember the name of the other. Transpennine route, I think it was. I've filmed it on. It's not really a tutorial as such, but a guidance video on not freaking out on using the Class 101. The Class 101 is quite nice to drive once you get the hang of it. It's quite fun. Probably the most difficult thing is trying to stop that thing. That was the thing I found most difficult with it was not changing gear, but bringing it to a stop with the lap handle, because you'd have to recharge. If you could end up running out of the pressure on whatever it is, and you'd have to recharge the lap handle, and you could end up overshooting the station. So, for the video I made, I managed to operate it quite well, but it's really fun to use. So, but if you've come to this route and you're not familiar with the 101 and this, it could be quite a learning curve for you, I must admit. So don't stress yourself out. Just do any of the scenarios involving the Class 47. Start off there first. Otherwise, I would hate for you to walk away from this fantastic route by getting stressed out over the Class 87 and the Class 101, because Class 47 is really easy as a diesel engine to operate. So start off there. I promise you will get there in the end. Right, we've only got one more now, which is at Garstang and Catterall. Garstang and Catterall, I think it is. On the map it's marked up as Baywater. I think it's in that area anyway. And that's about 10 miles away from Preston. I'm struggling to see the gauges properly here because the sun is shining on the dials. So I thought, where's my markers? Because the last thing I wanted to do was send my markers while running up into the red, and having a crisis on my hands. So I couldn't see the dials. Of course, you could use the main HUD, which would appear in the bottom right-hand corner there. The main HUD. But then you wouldn't be able to see the desk properly, and I wanted you to see the desk. In fact, I haven't used that in a while now. I prefer to just use this top left-hand HUD. quite funny doing a voiceover to this. It doesn't feel as if it's going as fast, but when you are actually driving it, playing it, this feels extremely fast. And trying to keep an eye on your speed limits, what your controls are set at, is quite difficult. And then of course you've got the neutral zones, haven't you? So I think we're in the whole position at the moment. Our brakes are off, so we're just coasting along, are we? Well, if I'm in hold, we're not coasting as such. Notching down now, running down. We're getting quite close to 110. For me, I don't know anybody else. I don't take it up to the full 110. I like to be a mile or two below, because it gives me that little bit of space then to start making adjustments, whether that's notching down or braking or whatever it may be. Graphics are amazing, aren't they? Wow, that was quite a wobble, wasn't it? I think if I was driving for real then I'd you know, just gonna swear, but I think I'd have a bit of a fright on that. Right, we're 2 miles away from the blackboard. Keep an eye on all visuals on screen from now on to help you know that you are approaching the neutral zone. The neutral zone. Sounds like something from a science fiction film. So now we are 1 mile away from a black marker board. So we had those sheds there on your right, so they might help you know that you've got a black board coming up. So we're 20 seconds away. It's just after this bridge, I think. On this next bridge. See, I still can't see the damn thing. There it is. No, it isn't. There it is, there it is. Oh my god. See, it's so hard to see them. I need glasses, don't I? I've got glasses for reading. I must need long range glasses now. Right, okay, so we're 18 seconds away because we're going at quite a high speed here. Keep an eye on the left. Look at all this stuff on the right here. I'll use a guide. There we go. You'll also notice as you're going through the neutral zone that there's like yellow, like magnets or whatever they are, like you see for these signals. in the middle of the track. There seems to be quite a few of them, but I mean they're not really helpful because, you know, it's too late then. You've got to be shut off. So I went through that zone with no problems whatsoever. I wasn't braking. I didn't need to reset everything. And we can just happily relax now all the way back to Preston. Something I did notice the other night when I was driving the 87 in the night time, hauling freight, was coming into Preston, and as you know, there is a descent into Preston station, so you really have to keep an eye on things, on your speed, because your speed will start climbing up even though you've broken. You've got, I think the first speed limit is 35 miles an hour, and then it more or less instantly drops down to 25, and although I didn't break the speed limits in coming in, I don't think I was taking into account the fact that I was hauling quite a lot of freight behind me, and I think I should have been a little bit more gradual in my bringing the train slower into that area, because I think the freight behind me was jolting. I mean, if you want me to, if anybody does watch these videos, because I know I'm not really known within the community at all. I'm very new to this. But if you want me to make one of these reference videos for the night time, in the dark, then let me know, because there'll be different visual indicators at night, such as lights on buildings and things like that, things that are all lit up, so they are very helpful in helping you identify where you actually are. And it's really nice driving at night. What I suggest you do is switch off all the lights in your room, make sure the room is dark. You can see the screen better because there's nothing reflecting against the screen, and it feels really nice and cozy, because I play in the living room of my home, and I play the night scenarios at night with all the lights switched off. And yeah, it's awesome. So I'm braking now, because we've got a 95 speed limit, but I'm already below 95 anyway. But I'm aware I'm getting close into Preston, and I think we're going to make it on time. I must give a big shout out to my Jack Russell, whose name is Wilson, who has for once actually behaved himself. Oh my god, he's heard his name. He's behaved himself. He's sleeping in the window at the moment, because normally when I start recording these videos, he starts barking his head off, and he does it deliberately. There was like a Pac-Man logo there on the left, wasn't there? Which was interesting. Pac-Man was the era, wasn't it? That's what it's a shout out for. I just realised. The graffiti I'm on about, you'll have to rewind the video if you want to see it. So, what is the speed limit here? It says 80, does it? Yeah. So I'm still braking because I know I've got this 35 coming up. And there's the familiar church. Is it a church or a cathedral? It's got like a cathedral type of look to it. I don't think it's a cathedral, is it? Is it a church? I can't remember the name of it. Tintin knows the names to all these places. He lives around here, doesn't he? I'm so jealous that he knows all the names to all these places and things. It's quite funny, the other day he was pointing out where his grandparents are buried, that you could see the church. He stopped the train to show you. And I think his mum lives along this line too. So everybody was waving. They're really fun videos to watch. So here we are. What are we down? We're down to 27. So we need to get this down to 25 now. Even though we've got 35 coming up. Because the 25 is instantly right after. I like those whirring noises as the engines are whirring down. Clickety-clack over the points. Yeah, that'll be the carriages going over the points, won't it? It's amazing, you know, people forget about sound sometimes. The sound effects on this are brilliant too. Not just for the locomotives, but everything else. So as you can see, we're sort of, I'm running at 17 miles an hour now. I'm not really in the middle of the station as such, but you know, I'm at that speed because of the 25 mile an hour speed limit. And once I get down to about 50 yards, I think I start braking a little bit earlier because I know that we're on a decline here, and that can catch you out and end up spadding through this red light, which you really do not want to do after doing such a long journey. It always scares me. And there we have it. We've made it. We've done it. We'll just load these passengers. So I hope this reference guide helped someone. It's helped me. If nobody else, but so let's just have a look at our. So I think that's pretty impressive, isn't it? That I only speeded once, because I have only driven this about 3 or 4 times now, half a dozen times at the most. So I shouldn't be too cruel on myself. How did we do on our? We arrived on time at Penrith, a minute over at Oxenholme, 2 minutes over at Lancaster, and 2 minutes early at Preston. That's not bad, is it? So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and subscribe, please. And, yeah, thank you very much.